BTC at all-time highs. The Trump pump is a thing. Now, guys, if you've got a little bit of FOMO, you need to watch the show. I'm going to give you detailed setups on these altcoins. I'm going to give you a trading plan on how to manage this stuff. If you've got FOMO, pay attention. This is your moment. Things are happening here, guys. Lots to talk about. Let's get right into this. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. And I don't know what I need to do to get Ray in a rainbow. Can somebody help me get Ray in a rainbow? Now, Ray, when I bring you back, you're in the rainbow, bro. It's you have to. You have to. Okay, come back in the rainbow. Come back in the rainbow. Banter Bubbles is green again. I mean, this thing is looking incredible at the moment. Now, Uni and 𝗬𝗟𝗏 obviously ripping on the Republican news. We know the situation there. That is probably going to sort itself out. So people getting super bullish on Uniswap and 𝗬𝗏 again. That is looking great, but the whole market is looking beautiful. Look at Lido, the biggest shitcoin on the bottom right, is 20% up. Absolute cooker at the moment. And it's been a wonderful 12 hours or so. And I'm sure everybody, whether you like him or hate him or whatever your alignment is, I'm sure you appreciate the Trump pump. If you own a little bit of crypto, the Trump pump is on, and it is what it is. Now, guys, I'm running an urgent poll for you in the chats. Okay, Bitcoin is in a 15-minute flag. Okay, this is absolute degen shit going on here. Please fill in this poll. I'm going to take a long or a short according to what you guys want. Okay, Ray, keep watching this poll. Let's get the guys going. I'm firing up my Prime XBT. We are going long or short based on what you guys say. I need 400 votes, and then we're gonna have a crack at this thing. Look at this. I'm loaded up. There's our flag. I'm ready to go. Okay, you guys tell me. You tell me what I need to do. I see Michelle says Trump to save the USA and our bags. Michelle, and our bags. Okay, let's talk BTC on the 1 hour. And guys, look at this. He's back. Bullish on the Ray. Okay, he's back. Okay, Bitcoin on the 1 hour. I've really dialed this in here for us just to give you guys a picture as to what is happening. Now, we had a mega pump there with those election results, or leading into the results. It was quite amazing. And when Trump actually stood on stage and accepted and gave his little winning speech and all these things, that is where these altcoins were hitting resistance. That is where the initial rejection started. So now the game plan today is to really pay attention here. We're doing one of two things over the next 24 hours. We are either catching breakouts on these type of flags. We're either doing that, or we are waiting patiently and we're trying to build positions. We're looking for bullish pullbacks here. If you have a bias on the market that things are now sorted out, macro is good, everything's looking good, we're looking for bullish pullbacks here. We want to buy anything that they give us, okay, to the downside. If that is your bias, this is what you need to do. So BTC now, on the 1 hour, you can see what's going on. We've already tested our 236 fib, 73,400. That is now a support marker for us to pay attention to, 73,400. Then some other very important levels here, 72,800. And then I've got 72,100. That's another banger there for me. And then this one, 71,100. Also, nice big zone here for us to the downside. So if and when we start getting some kind of pullback here, we need to make an assumption here that we're going to get some kind of bullish bounce. But I don't like the look of these types of candles, and we're going to see loads of them when we start looking at some of these altcoins. So we might get a situation where we can't continue pumping, we carry on, and at some point later on, they come and flush us out and try and grab some of these candles and take out some of that liquidity. Or alternatively, they behave like gentlemen and they give us bullish pullbacks here onto things like 382 fibs, 618 fibs. So that is what I'm looking at now to the downside for BTC. All these levels can come into play. If you're trying to build a position, these are the main zones you want to be paying attention to on any pullbacks here on BTC. So nice little pump, okay? We don't want to get too euphoric here, but let's see. We're all-time highs. Again, our target is 89K. I think we know we've covered that 89K, and I do think we are going to get there now sooner rather than later, but subject to a potential bullish pullback here. So Ray, how's our poll going here? I'm itching. 65%. Guys, we need a few more votes, and then I'm locked and loaded here. You're going to tell me what to do. We're going to fire this thing. We're going to fire this thing up very quickly, Ray. Okay, let's talk what is going on here in the news. And this was us yesterday. I mean, this is really, this is exactly how everyone was feeling. And the man came and the man delivered for us. And actually, I have to play this guy. I have to play this for you guys. Give me a second here. Give me a second. You need to see this. You need to enjoy this.
You can tell by the way I use my voice. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. You see loud women walking things around since I was born. We have a tolerance.
Right.
I don't hate. And you may look the other way. But we can try to understand. Do your time to make no man.
Smash the likes, guys. Smash those likes. Let's fucking go.
We got exactly what we wanted out of this, didn't we? And I mean, Tesla is gapping up. Tesla is absolutely ripping. I'm going to show you this Tesla situation as well. Wait, now I'm going to end up pulling up the wrong screen here. Boomer vibes. Wait, hold on. Cancel the boomer vibes. Wait, let's get this thing going. Okay. There we are. Okay, let's go. So Tesla absolutely flying again. This thing is gapped up on the daily. Now Tesla, this is Tesla on the weekend. Sam Oz, come on. Why can't you concentrate? It's my bullish V-neck, what do we call it? My V-shaped recovery. This is what it's about. Tesla looking amazing now on the weekly chart. You can see what's going on. Any Tesla traders out there, remember we got this little move on Tesla on their earnings off that support. Beautiful little zone. Now we've pumped through some major resistance on Tesla. So anybody trading Tesla, 265 is your friend here. This is support now that you can watch with an upside target on 310 is what we're looking at for Tesla. So big support here, 265. It's weekly support. It's a massive zone that you want to watch. I mean, look at this thing. It's looking super bullish here at the moment. So Tesla could be absolutely cracking on there for us. And James, what's going on here, bro? Come on, I wore the bull hat, especially for everybody. Okay, let's talk S&P gapping up. Okay, the way we like it. It's amazing when there's some clarity in the market. Everybody's happy. You know, the market hates this uncertainty. Now they know. Okay, they locked in. Trump for 4 years. There's no legal fight. There's no arguments. He's locked in for 4 years, and off we go. So there goes the S&P. Our target is 6,042. Still looking for that guy to hit, but now gaps everywhere. Look at this. We got a gap in a gap in a gap. I mean, so many gaps, but we are cooking up. So 6,000 looking great for us there on the S&P. So that is all systems go. And I just want to say one more thing before we continue.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Right. Okay. I don't think I'm ever going to stop. Playing that. Okay. Now, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗪 telling us some interesting things here. The volatility index, the VIX. This is what we watch for volatility on the market. What we know is when the VIX spikes, there's risk off. When the VIX drops, there's risk on in the markets. Now, we've seen the VIX pumping during COVID or any major events. That VIX absolutely pumps. Now, what they're saying is the put to call ratio has jumped to 2.3, one of the highest readings in over a decade. Basically, these guys are saying that the VIX is going to come down, the VIX is going to drop, and it's now risk on. Okay, that means throw money at stocks, throw money at crypto, all these types of things. This is what these guys are betting on here at the moment. So that is an interesting sign. And then there's winners and losers out of this last 24 hours. This guy, top poly market whale, earns $20 million from the Trump victory, with the 5 largest Trump bettors poised to win $81 million. Now, what about these guys that were basically shorting Bitcoin, which is in effect betting against a Trump victory? Look at this, $74 million liquidation on Binance. That must have hurt. How do you tell your uncle that? How do you tell him I just lost $75 million, Ray? I mean, it's a bit of a burn, but that is a proper liquidation event. Fuck me. I mean, those candles last night. Wow. And then Vivek reminding us, Wales bought $132 million Bitcoin. He's tracking some wallets there. So it's all happening, guys. And then Gary Gensler, how's this book? How to Stop Crypto. You can't. So sad. This is from the Banter account. Okay, let's get into business. Now, liquidations, hot zones that I'm watching. Let's just refresh this guy. And you can see the shorts are starting to pile up here around 76K. So that is looking very hot at 76K. So if there is a little bit more upside, 76K is where it's at. Ray, am I long? Am I short? What's going on here? 69% want me to go long. Fuck it. Let's go long. Okay, let's go long. Let's start a long here. If we start breaking this triangle, we're going to add to that long. Okay, so if we start popping through this triangle here, I'm going to add to that thing. I'm going to bang my stop under one of these lows. Let's just get some action here first. And guys, remember, we like to counter trade the herd. But in today's celebratory mood, we are going to just go with whatever you take, okay? And 69% one long, and we're going to send this one long, Ray. Okay, so liquidation heat map to the upside, 76K. That is the danger zone. If we do go higher, that's a nice little target. Any scalp moves now, 76K. Looks like a hot zone there for us to the upside. And then downside, look, anything at about 72.5 down to about 71.7. That's a big juicy zone that we need to pay attention to. So if there is a little push down, you can see this 382 is going to come into play for us. This 382 fib, that is now going to be our hot zone that we want to watch, and that'll be a nice bullish bounce there for us. So if we do get that dip, look for that reaction in that area. That could play out pretty well for us. Now, here's the story. Look at this thing. I'm nearly on 50 sticks now. Okay. And we stuck with this thing. And this ETH trade finally came alive for me. Now, I was telling Sniper Club guys today, if ETH loses 2.5, well, then we're done. Okay. Then I'm cutting that thing and then I'm absolutely done. And you can see I've opened a phantom short. This is a hedge play. Now it's going to form a basis of a lot of what I'm talking to you guys about today, and expecting bullish pullbacks and looking at some of these hot zones. So this is a hedge play on phantom. It's a much smaller position relative to some of the others here, but this is cooking. Okay, we're happy. Things are cooking at the moment, and it's looking juicy out there. Okay, guys, keep me posted on this guy, Ray. Okay, let's go. BTC on the daily, also breaking all-time highs, as you can see. So on the daily time frame, all we need to do is pay attention to some key levels here on the daily, and that for me is going to be 72.100, big one. 70K. Those are your two big ones you want to watch now. 72, 100, and 70K. So spot traders, guys that aren't staring at 15-minute candles, those are really the big ones that you want to watch right now. Okay, while things are playing out, these are big levels. New Zealand Danny says, long the top. I concur. I concur, Ray. Shall we long the top, bro? We get liquidated today. Okay. Dominance on the weekly still looking pretty bullish, but it's still in our region here. It's still in our rejection zone. So nothing big happening just yet. And you'll know when these altcoins, when these altcoins are ripping. That dominance will be rejecting properly. And you're going to see some really, if you thought last night was a couple of nice candles, well, you haven't seen anything yet. So just be patient with that one. But if we do have this dominance push up to 65%, could get a little bit squeaky bum time for those altcoins. So just pay attention again. Ideally, we want a nice rejection in this zone, and this will keep all this momentum going for us on our existing altcoins. Okay. Then others back in trend. Okay. So look, it's still early days. This is the weekly candle that we're watching. We had a weekly candle close underneath that zone. Now we are pushing back. So we really want to get this weekly candle to close above this trend, and that'll confirm that we are back in the bull zone and we are pushing higher. So that is really what we want to watch now this week. So any pullbacks that we get during the course of the remainder of the week, we want to make sure we close above that trend and close above that 50-day moving average. Ideally, that would be great. And then let's go. Let's talk ETH. How's this candle, right? I mean, this has been the most emotional roller coaster ever for me, this ETH trade, the ETH bonus. It's absolute pain. And I think I'm actually going to TP on ETH. When we hit this horizontal here, I think I'm just going to close that one and say thanks very much. So, yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. But right now I'm watching 2,750. That is major resistance here for us on ETH. And we'll see what happens when we get to that level. If we do start breaking that zone, most likely going to be a 200-day MA rejection. Then there's going to be new longs for us on ETH at 2,700. So just be patient. Okay, big resistance coming up on ETH. Let's see how it goes. Right now, support 2,500. That is the line in the sand for me. That will be trend. That will be 50-day MA. I've even got some VWAP action over there. So 2,500 for me. Don't want to go lower than that if there is some kind of meltdown in the markets. Now, we're going to cover a list of alts here that we've been tracking over the last week or so. I'm going to look at them in detail. We're going to look at them on higher time frames. I'm going to show you why they are struggling in these areas currently. Then I'm going to give you a more degen zoomed in version of these altcoins. I'm going to show you some nice buy zones. I'm going to show you how I'm planning on taking on the next move in the market. So we've had a nice pump. We've taken some profits on some trades we're leaving open. Some of them we've got head shorts in play now. If our bias is bullish bias. What do we do now? We're looking for bullish pullbacks, 382 zones, 618 zones. I'm going to take you through all of this, guys. So make sure that you are taking notes now. Make sure that you understand these levels, because some of these levels might only hit in a few days, if any. Okay, because we might still pump higher. So we need to just play this one very safely now. So let's start with Solana, and a nice banging move here on Sol, and pushing into a bit of a danger zone at the moment. So you can see immediately that Sol is now touching a wick zone that could be a potential rejection zone. Remember, these market makers like to come up, they like to take out a wick, and then they like to send things a little bit lower. So this is potentially what is happening here with Sol at the moment. And you can see I do have a very bearish liquidity zone up here as well, and that thing is highlighted. It's 91% bearish, that thing over there. So anything just under 193, 192, little bit of a spicy zone here for Sol. And look out, maybe there is one more pump in the market, one more fake out, and then we get that downside. So just be aware of where you are in the grand scheme of things now with some of these altcoins. Now here is Sol on the 1 hour, and what I want to give you is full-on degen setups. Now, there's a couple of ways that you guys can play this thing, okay? Number one, if your bias is bullish and you're prepared to, throw money at this thing and say, okay, I'm bullish, my mindset is bullish now for the next 6 months, for the next 12 months, then you can say, I want to buy any bullish pullbacks here. Now, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can start on very low leverage or spot positions, and you can take advantage of any taps onto these types of zones. The same way I've been trading Popcat, you can start looking at small buys in these areas to start building a little position, because we don't know where the bottom is going to be. But what we do know is these are typical reaction zones. So these are typical zones where you get a reaction. Look at Sol when it dipped onto this 236 fib the first time. Look at that bounce from Sol when it hit that zone. So these are the hot zones that I like to play with. And the big banger here for me is 175. So where am I looking? If I was looking for a new Sol position, now remember, I'm still in my Sol position, so I want a big pullback to add to Sol. Where would I start looking? For me, 175. And then a buy at 168. These are my two hot zones on Sol. So you can accumulate down in these moves, looking for that kind of bullish trend to the downside. One of these should then be the bullish pop-up that we are looking for. And if that bias plays up, then that is typically what is going to be happening. Remember, we've got our lows. All these alts have now got their lows, and we don't want to lose those extreme lows from that sell-off that we had at the beginning of the month. So we want to see a bullish pullback here and then some kind of pump. So for me, Sol zones of interest, 180, 176, 168. Now, these are the zones you can accumulate positions on, or alternatively, if you're an absolute degen trader, what you can do is start looking for buys on these zones. Okay, you're going to look for dips into these areas, some kind of consolidation, so you can nibble in these zones, and then some kind of scalp play. You're going to look for some kind of trend break off these zones, so you can run very tight stops just under these areas. Look out for stop hunts. Remember, they like to sit down on the zones, float around a little bit, stop hunt, grab your stops, and then send this thing higher up. So look out for those types of moves. But this obviously adds to your risk, because then you're trying to buy or you're trying to catch a bottom of a move. So what I like to do is on these hot zones, nibble around in these areas. When there's consolidation and some bullishness coming back, you look for trend breaks, you start adding to those positions. So look out for that. And is it possible to reach us 80,000 next 24 hours? What's going on here, right? What's this guy talking about? He's talking about Bitcoin. Oh, he's talking about Bitcoin. Yes, I believe it is. I believe it is YouTube variety of learning. I believe it is possible to happen. So let's see how the S&P closes later on today. Okay, so Sol traders, that's the bullish plan. These are the levels that you're looking at to play. These are your safest zones. Now, I really like this 176. Look at this. I've got an anchored VWAP from our extreme lows. I've got our 382. I've got juicy horizontals here as well. So I really do like the look of that zone. And then we do have our backup at 168. So very simple game plan. And remember, guys, all these charts that I'm posting now on the show, Ray is dropping straight into Sniper Club. So if you want a piece of Sniper Club, there's a link in the description there. You will get all these charts in Sniper Club directly after the show with context. Obviously, watch the video so you can hear what I'm talking about. But these are going to be your degen hot zones. And then your targets, one of those targets is going to be 194. The next one's going to be 204. The next one's going to be 210. One of these moves, we want to see Sol take us to Valhalla. Okay, send us to those types of levels. So that is Sol. That is my game plan on Sol, looking for moves off those areas. Then let's talk Doge. I mean, this was absolutely beautiful. We were in that Doge scalp from yesterday, and I was telling you guys, I was concerned that if Joe started breaking this horizontal, what did I say? I said something like, we're going to get one candle in a straight line, and they're going to send this thing up. And I mean, they didn't disappoint. 16% pump. In fact, it was more. I mean, they sent it straight through. I mean, they did it 25% pump on Doge. So that was a mega move. Hopefully, some of you guys did get a piece of that Doge yesterday. Now we can see there's been a massive sell-off on Doge. What do? You know, are you FOMOing in here? What are you doing with Doge? So your best bet, again, you want to dial in and you want to find the hot zones. And I want to use this as a lesson for you guys, just to show you what generally happens. Now, this doesn't happen every single time, but when we do get a pump, you quite often get a bullish pullback. So I want to take you back in history here on Doge. So this is Doge on the 2 hour. You can see our lows on the 3rd of October from the dumps. What happened? We pumped up with Doge. We dropped back. What did we hit? 382 bullish pullback. We hit anchored VWAP as support. We hit 200-day MA. We hit trend. Okay, bang. Bounce. Okay, 382. Then we after that dip was on the 25th of October. Then we sent it to the highs. Look at this. What did we do? We dipped back. We hit 618 fib, horizontal, trend, and anchored VWAP as support. What happens? Bang. This thing goes straight back up. So now, why aren't we looking for the exact same game plan? And this is what I'm trying to teach you guys today. Let's go from the lows, Sunday the 3rd of November, to the highs. Okay, and we want to look at some bullish bounce zones for Doge. So as you can see, this first zone, the 382, okay, that guy is the equivalent of this move right here. So we are now on bullish zone number 1 for Doge. So that's pretty interesting to me. Then our next zone is 0.18. We've got anchored VWAP here in play for us and horizontals. So 0.18. And then our 618 is a little bit lower down. Now, we don't have much armory here on that 618. In fact, I'm going to bang out a 786 here. It looks a little bit more interesting to us here. Let's just get this out. There. Okay, that looks nice. Okay, so these are your hot zones that you want to watch for Doge. Now, remember, no matter what type of pullback we get, if it holds this rising trend, Doge remains bullish. This thing remains super bullish here for us. So if you want to play this game and you want to build positions, you can see what typically happens. When we're in an uptrend, we get bullish pullbacks that we can buy, then we push higher. Now we're looking at the same thing. Nice. New Zealand Daddy. Congrats. That was a banger, though. That was an absolute banger. And now hot zones for me on Doge. You can see these levels. I'm going to read them to you. 0.1899, 0.18, 0.171. These are going to be your bullish zones. And based on previous history, we saw a 382 and we saw a 618. So these zones look the most interesting to me on Doge. So let this thing play out a little bit. You could have a situation where it starts flagging a little bit and then they give us that kind of dip into that 618. But this is typically the principle that you want to look for. As you can see on this flag last time, what happened? We had little bounces along the way. Okay, everyone got excited, but ultimately we ended up on that 618. And I expect maybe something similar here with Doge. Okay, so you're looking at something like that. Watch those key levels and, react accordingly. Now, these are the zones you most likely get some kind of move on. If it's going to stay bullish, it most likely holds these types of areas. And these are the zones, once again, where you can start building your position. So if you want to accumulate a position, you don't want to ape into the whole thing at once. Your strategy could be buy a little bit on the 382, buy a little bit on the 618, buy a little bit on the 786, accumulate all the way down. When it does break that big trend again, then you can really start adding and start pressing. So if your view is macro bias over the next 12 months, then there is no rush. There's literally no rush. Buy on the nice zones on the pullbacks, accumulate slowly, don't overextend yourself. Little moves, little moves, little moves. When this thing starts ripping, you can always add to momentum and you can always catch up on that position size. You don't want to get caught in a massive position size on your first buy, because what if the price does dip? What if they do send the price down another 7% and you're sitting in a 20x and you've maxed out your size already? So just always think about the what if and where is your big support zones and try and understand your risk levels. Now, do you concur, Ray? Do you concur? Rainbow Ray. Does Ray concurs?
I concur, sir. I concur.
Ray concurs. Ray concurs. How's everybody in the chat? So I wanted to see the spirit here with everybody. How's everybody going? The star screen says, banter monkeys are long. Time to short. Well, Starscream, I'll have you know, we called a lot of shorts this morning on the live stream. I'm short Phantom right now. I'm short a couple of other things and Tower as well. So yeah, just hang in there. Okay, hang in there, Starscream. And you're welcome to watch the show. And Mac Daddy says, when is Ton going to move? Guys, I don't know. The shine kind of came off Ton with all the drama in France. He was arrested. Then he's disclosed that he's been sharing information with the FBI or whoever all over the years. And yeah, I mean, it's the shine kind of went off it a little
Snitches
bit.
get stitches. Snitches get stitches.
Stitches, correct. And Amresh wants some Bitfunded. Guys, I've got a trade in Bitfunded at the moment. Hopefully that is going to be a good one for us. Gsm says, I'm hoping for some pullback. Look, guys, I think if we do get a pullback, it's going to be a nice gift. We're looking for nice big pullbacks, and make sure you are watching these levels that I'm giving you. Lucky Cell says, sell the news. Look, it feels that way. You know, Ray and I were saying yesterday, felt inevitable. Now we pumped into the news, then Trump did his little speech, and the market started rejecting a little bit, and now we're kind of floating around. So it's very interesting times now over the next few days. It's going to be interesting what Asia does tonight, because Asia pumped the hell out of this crypto market, and they basically took the Americans' pump away from them. So the Americans were supposed to pump this, but the whole of Asia did this first. And yes, New Zealand Danny waiting for 618 pullbacks. That makes sense to me. Mia says she's waiting for a Ponky pullback. Mia, I did give Sniper Club some Ponky levels earlier today that you could look at. And yes, Mila says long big picture. I 100% agree. And yeah, all is good, guys. So let's get Maruk. I think I'm over trading now. Yes, well, I saw you in the comp, in the ZoomX comp. Where are you? Where are you? You're coming second. That's Maruk over there. She's coming second in the ZoomX comp. Now, guys, remember the ZoomX comp, we got 109 participants. The top 10 are sharing $22,300. This competition is still open for like another 10 days or something. It's no KYC. Sign up to the link in the description on ZoomX. Trade this private competition with me. It's only with everybody who's watching the show. If you finish in the top 10, look at the prizes, okay? You need to be trading $40,000 total in volume, okay? But you only need 150 to start your account. So if you get momentum, you can obviously start increasing that volume. So Maruk is killing it. She's coming second. She's about to win $5,000 for coming second. Popcat is a good kitty. I'm back. That's me, number 7. I'm in line for $800 there. So guys, jump in. There's a link in the description. Let's play this game. Okay, let's talk a couple of things here. And here's a couple of trades that I'm in at the moment. And you can see I'm long Sui from yesterday. And now I've opened a short as a hedge play on Sui. And I think you guys have seen me do this now a couple of times. So I took profit on a lot of trades this morning. Then I opened some hedge shorts as well. And, you know, this is the game plan here for me is looking for a bullish pullback, and why can't a short in a big zone pay for that entry for me if it is going to work out? And if the market keeps pumping, well, then I lose 1.5-2% on that stop, and then maybe it carries on flying for us. So right now you can see my Sui long is $2,300 up. My short, which is at a resistance band, is $300 up now as well, because it's obviously rejecting at a hot zone. So I'm going to give you the principle behind this on a lot of tokens here. Let's start with AVAX, and you're going to get my thinking behind everything. So AVAX, number 1. We had a beautiful pump. And remember, we got this entry here, 22.5 off the 618, the macro 618. Now we've had a beautiful pump on AVAX. Why is this a danger zone for me? Number 1. 50-day moving average, hot zone. We know we reject off the 50-day or we hold it as support. You can see there's our examples there. And then I've got order blocks here, negative order blocks for us. So that's relatively bearish order blocks there in the way. Let me just clear that up. Then I've got an anchored VWAP from the highs sitting here. I've got an anchored VWAP from the lows in October sitting in that zone. So we know this entire region here is a bit of a danger zone for us. We've had a beautiful push up. Now we're in a danger zone. And I was trying to explain this to Sniper Club guys earlier today. When you invert this chart and you look at it this way, and we would say if the market has been dumping, what would we say in this typical scenario? We'd probably say, guys, you know, it looks like a reversal is coming. Look for something like that and then a pump. Okay, that's pretty much what I'm seeing here on these charts now after this massive move. So to me, it makes sense. Maybe a little flush to the upside, just grab some of the stops there and then send this one a little bit lower. So that is the current concern for AVAX, that we are at a resistance band now, and we just need to play a little bit cautiously. Now, you're going to see on the next chart that I show you, we do have this 200-day MA as a target. Okay, this is a potential next major rejection zone that we're going to be watching. So let's dial in now. So let's go into AVAX on the 1 hour. And these are basically the options. If you want to be a DJ now, you know that AVAX on the daily is at a major resistance band. If this was inverted, we'd say we'd be looking for longs in the zone because it's obviously looking like a major reaction area. So here's AVAX now pushing into the 50-day moving average, and your options are, okay, if you're looking for longs here, your options are bullish pullback onto 25.85, bullish pullback onto 25, okay, both of these zones there. This would be your 382 fib, tied in with your 100-day MA, tied in with your trend, tied in with your horizontal, tied in with your VWAP. So we know 25 to 24.5 is quite a hot zone here for us. 25 to 24.5, that's a hot zone. So any pullbacks down into that region could be a really nice little entry for us on AVAX. But now what do we do if this thing starts running away from us? Let's say, you know, the market turns bullish now this afternoon and you're not getting your entry zone. So what you can see I've done here for everybody is we're looking for a nice bullish candle through the 50-day MA. Look at this 50-day MA in the way. If we get a hard pump through that 50-day MA, then you can say, okay, maybe it's time to take on a little bit of risk. Then you can start looking at a stop under the breakout candle or a stop under that anchored VWAP. Then ideally you're going to get some kind of retest on the 50-day MA and the horizontals. That is what you want to see. That is for buying extra, and then you're going to send this thing. And most likely your target then of the second move is going to be 28.3. So that is pretty much the risk reward now on another trade. So if we're looking at AVAX moving to the next major reaction zone or the next major rejection area, if it doesn't reject where it is here, most likely at that 200-day MA is where there's a rejection zone. And that is why I've said here, this would be your TP. So let this thing pop the 50-day MA. You've got about a 7 or 8% move coming if it does turn bullish. 6 to 7% move. Then the minute it starts running, you can also just raise your stops a little bit, and you're effectively going to be playing a breakout, literally a horizontal breakout. And then your upside is going to be that 200-day moving average. And you can see it's over here looking really nice. But what it can do is that can then turn into some nice support for us. So if we get that push, look for that rejection, 200-day MA, then we're going to get some nice bullish buyers somewhere down here. At some point, we'll get that pullback, and then we're going to look for something like that. So remember, you're sitting at resistance. Exercise caution. If there is a move, TP zone for me, 28.3. That looks like the most likely area. That 200-day MA is a big support and resistance band there for us. And Mia says, will Asia pump or dump tonight? That's a very good question. Very good question. I wasn't expecting such a massive Asia pump. Now, let's talk Phantom. This is also an interesting one for me. And as simply as this is Phantom on the 8 hour. And what can we see? We can see Phantom is trying to look bullish, but look what's going on here. We've got trend resistance in the way, okay? So that is a danger zone there for us. We've also got our 50-day MA. We've got our anchored VWAP from the highs. We've got tons of horizontal in that region. So we can see quite clearly now, Phantom 67 is actually, it's a big resistance zone. Okay, and what does this mean for us? It tells us that if we do pop that area, that is going to be beautiful support for us for any longs later on. Okay, but your risk is, if you're taking a long now, you are longing into a major resistance band. So let's take a look what that looks like on the smaller time frame. And this is Phantom on the 1 hour that I've now broken down for you guys. And you can play this actually the same way as BTC. Now, you can see these liquidity zones here. These order blocks are in the way, and that is now a resistance band for us. But what does that tell us? It can become support a little bit later. So what are your options now? You can see there's a flag forming here on Phantom. If you do get a break now, just like AVAX, if you start getting a break now through that 50-day MA, you can maybe look to take on some risk here, because your next target is going to be this fib, some kind of rejection, and then you're looking at 73 as your next Phantom target. So right now we got a flag forming on the 1 hour. It could be teeing up for one more bullish push here in the markets, but you want to break 665. If you can break 665 and hold that as support, then I would say it's on for Phantom for a next move to these higher levels here at 73, give or take. That is what you're going to be looking at. And then to the downside, bullish pullback zones, very simple game plan as well. We've got our fibs from the highs to the lows, and then we're looking for that bullish pullback. And for me, the most obvious one is 615. So that is the most obvious zone for me, and that ties in really nicely with trend action, horizontals. We've got the VWAP, we've got everything going on there, and that could be the one that sends Phantom on a little bit of a moon mission there to about 73. So there's two potential trades on the table now. Break this flag, there's something on there. Pull back to 6156 would be ideal for me. Those are your two options available now. If you're taking a trade now and you're going long where it is now, you need to understand your risk, and your full risk is all the way down to 615. That's about 7%. But if you're going degen and you're going to play a breakout of a flag, fuck it, Ray. Let's play this breakout of the flag. Your stop is going to be under 6563. Okay, let's go. Ray, let's play this fucking trade Phantom, yeah. Okay, there we go. How much did I buy there? Well, I bought a lot, 20,000. Fuck. Okay, there we go. So Phantoms, let's see. There's a little move there on Phantom. What you can do now, degen traders, remember, this is a high risk play. Okay, we're playing this breakout here. You can have a stop at 6562. Okay, option 1. Okay, or alternatively, you can look under 6433. Now, these are high risk plays. We are sitting at resistance. I remind you again. So your stop option is 6426 or 6562. If this thing does get bullish, then it should start kicking on. Okay, you're looking for something along those lines. And let's see. Okay, resistance band for Phantom. As long as you know, you're longing into resistance on Phantom. There it goes. You can use that anchored VWAP as support, like I've covered there on that stop. Now, what we want to see really is a nice push here. Little rejection. We can buy some more. Okay, next pullback, we buy more. And then we can send that one higher up. Alternatively, if this thing fakes out, it's coming back down to that 382 for me, 6156. That is what you're going to be watching. And just be safe out there, guys. Okay, that was a little bit big. I didn't have to go that big. Okay, okay, let's go. So Zoomx comp. Now we're talking Popcat. And I mean, this was a very patient ride. This one.
You came with the big package today. You came with the big package.
I did come with a big package today.
All-time highs today. All-time highs.
Okay, so Zoomx comp Popcat is a good kitty. I'm back. Okay, I'm coming 7th here and looking for some Popcat action. So I've just dialed in on the 1 hour for you guys just to give you an idea as to what is going on with Popcat. So we've had a nice little push. Any Popcat traders, if you want to join me on a Popcat trade, I've got my next entry zone ready and waiting. Okay, that is us. 1.45. I'm waiting. 1.45. That is my next entry for Popcat. That is where I'm buying some more. And we're hopefully going to send this one a little bit higher. So I've got VWAP in there. I've got 382. I've got trend. I'm quite liking that area. And I think that will give us a nice little relief pullback on Popcat and then a nice little send there. So 1.445. That type of area for me on Popcat. That is what I'm locking in on. I'd like that to take. And then you're gonna see, literally, you're gonna see me at number 1. Okay, I'm gonna be at number 1. If Popcat bounces there in the next couple of days, number 1's coming in hot. Baruch, I'm coming for you there. And what did she say? She was trading full tilt degen today. Just don't overtrade. Refut your video quality, guys. I think it's a setting on your side. I'm streaming in 1080 HD. Okay, so there's just a setting on your YouTube, and that is what you need to look at. Ferdy likes that FTM chart, and Sab Oz got Phantom at 579. I mean, what a banger. And that's nice. That's very nice. Okay, so there we go. Popcat, you know the drill. Those are the targets, 1.7, 1.82. Let's talk WIF. Same story. Monster rejection for WIF. Look at that. What did it reject off? Trend, 618, horizontal, dream zone. Okay, dream rejection zone. That is a dream take profit zone when you get these pumps. Major 618, trend, horizontal, absolute banger. And here is WIF now. Dialed in for the degens on the 1 hour. I've got some entries for you guys here. It's coming in hot. And what you need to watch now, nice solid retest. 2.27, alternatively 2.2 on the button. For me, you can see what's going on here. Maybe something along these lines coming out of WIF in the near future. Okay, that is what I'm looking at there. So WIF traders, 2.27. You've got your 200-day moving average. You got your 50-day moving average. You got your 382. You got your trend. You got your horizontal, 2.27. Quite a nice area. Okay, don't really want to go under that. I mean, that's quite a major area here that WIF has broken back into. You can see we've retested it once already. Strong bounce off this guy. Now, let's see. 2.27. Let's see if we get a strong bounce there off WIF. Alternatively, I quite like 2.2. These are the bullish zones that I'd be watching. And you can see after that pump today, quite a big sell-off. I mean, how's this move here? It's a 10% pullback. Okay, I mean, look, it was a savage pump though. When was this? Wednesday midnight. Yeah, that's when the fun started there. So we had a 21% move up. We've had a 50% dump. Okay, so 2.27. 2.2, nice little zones for me on WIF. Anybody interested in WIF? That is what you need in your life. And then 𝗡𝗢, this was a short I gave to you guys yesterday. 𝗡𝗢's moved into my short zone. Okay, so I've taken a short on 𝗡𝗢. Reason being why? I've got the 200-day MA, horizontals, trend in the way as well. And that was always a targeted reaction zone that we were looking at. So if you were in 𝗡𝗢, that's at the worst case, a TP zone for you where you de-risk a little bit or you take some kind of profit off there. Obviously, these things can pump back later and they can start absolutely flying. But if you're trading high leverage, yes, we can do that and it can continue. But right now, to be safe, you want to, you want to play it in the right zone. So 𝗡𝗢, that is why it's a big reaction zone for me. That is why it's a big rejection zone. Let's dial in here on the lower time frame. Look at this. Look at all this VWAP action here in front of us. Look at this thing. We've got VWAPs here. Bang, bang. We've got the 200-day MA in the way. We've got the 50-day MA in the way. It's an absolute war zone here for 𝗡𝗢 ahead. But what does that tell us? When we break through this later, amazing support. We're going to have beautiful trades off there later on. But right now, if we have to be totally honest with ourselves, that is a resistance band. This is a rejection zone. We need to be careful. Okay, so just look for that kind of move here on 𝗡𝗢. Let's see if we get some kind of downtrend. I would love to see 0.0089 hit. That is a hot zone there for me. And then 869. Look at that. 100-day moving average as well. 0.5. So 0.869. Those are the two hot zones that I'd be watching closely on 𝗡𝗢. Now, we don't know if there is going to be a pullback. Number one, we don't know how fast it will happen, but I suspect if they start grinding this out slowly, a nice slow little pullback, a little bleed out, that will be ideal conditions for us. And hopefully by tomorrow, we're going to be hitting some of those zones, and then we can start assessing where we are and start firing some trades off here. And Kimmy says, more likes, more trades. Guys, don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe so that you are subscribed, and hit the bell so you know when I go live. Now, my show has actually moved 1 hour later for people in my time zone, but the Americans, I think it's still on the same time for you. But as you can see, it's getting dark behind me because I've had to move this one an hour later. So make sure your notifications are on as well, and then you always get notified. Okay, let's go. So 𝗡𝗢, that's the basic play here. You want to hit these types of hot zones on any pullbacks that we get for 𝗡𝗢. Alternatively, you play it like Phantom. Ray, are we going to get rinsed here? Am I going to get rinsed on Phantom? Let's see. Let's see. I'm already getting rinsed, bro. They're already rinsing me. Okay, so that is the game plan. You're playing bullish. You're playing the trend breaks, or you're being a civilized human and you're waiting for bullish pullbacks here. And that's the non-degen way. So let it drift back nicely for you. Get some buys in there, accumulate a position, build a position. If you have that conviction that we are long, build a position on these hot zones, then send that thing. Just don't start with too much leverage. Don't start 20x. Start very low leverage, small positions. Remember what I did with PopCat? It started at $1,000, level 1, 1.5, level 2, 2,000, level 3. I slowly just added on the big zones as we went down and eventually ended up a $10,000 position. So these things can escalate pretty quickly. And then once it pumps, you can add even more. So just remember, start small. If it starts ripping off your first hot zone, well, that's an absolute bonus. You can always catch up later and add on further trend breaks and things like that. But always remember, if it hits your first hot zone and it starts falling over, make sure you have prepared. Make sure you're prepared to ride it down to the next zone. Okay, let's talk 𝗨𝗟. And I literally I think I caught the absolute top. The absolute, Raymond, I caught the top of something here. Look at this thing. The absolute top on 𝗨𝗟. Okay, for now. Okay, because it might still pump through here. But I got it 539 on Bitfunded. I had a limit order waiting. I'm going to show you why I had it there for you guys. And I think I actually covered 𝗨𝗟 yesterday for you guys. So right now, this is another hedge play short. I'm trading this in Bitfunded. Remember, Bitfunded, they give you demo accounts. And you make 8%, you make 5%, then they give you real money, you trade with their money, and you keep 80 to 90% of the profits. What does it cost you? You send them $79, they give you a $5,000 account. You send them $100, they give you a $10,000 account. So get 8%, get 5%, then the money's yours. 80, 90% is yours of what you make. So for Bitfunded here, I took the 𝗨𝗟 short this morning on that pump. I'm going to show you how it works. And remember, guys, while I'm talking, all these things that I talk about on the show, the indicators, the exchanges, everything is sitting here under the show for you. Just go to the show description. It's all here. Sniper Club's there, Prime XBT, Weex, ZoomX, everything is there for you guys, including Bitfunded and the indicators that I trade with. Okay, so let's go. 𝗏𝗏. So first thing you want to look at is, well, this is the 4 hour, but you can see what's going on. Same principle as all these other tokens. We caught 𝗏𝗏 off those absolute lows. There was an absolute banger. Look at that 100-day moving average. Big bounce for us here from 𝗏𝗏. What did we go into? Major horizontals. Okay, look at our anchored VWAP from the highs. Rejection zone. 50-day moving average. Rejection zone. 0.5 fib. Rejection zone. So we know there's a high probability after a pump that this is a type of region where they put the brakes on. Okay, it doesn't mean it blows through. It doesn't mean it rejects completely. But this is the type of level that we react. Okay, and we need to understand that these often are the rejection zones where they start these downtrends. So you might get something along the way coming down now for 𝗏𝗏 before we turn super bullish again. So that was the reasoning behind that 𝗏𝗏 short there. And then we also had a major liquidity zone up here. Look at this thing, bang. And we had this hot zone there. And we also had some order blocks. Look at that. So there was loads of levels of confluence here in the way for us on 𝗏𝗏, telling us that that is worst case a take profit zone, or best case, if you're bearish and you're brave enough, a short zone. Now, typically what you're looking at, if we flip this thing over, I just want to give you this view again. And if this was a massive sell-off in the market, we'd be looking at this and we'd be saying, okay, cool. So we've bounced once. I'd probably be telling you guys, look for that dip into that zone and then that kind of move. So I wouldn't write a fake out off here from 𝗏𝗏. Let's flip this thing back. There we go. So I wouldn't write this off, okay, as a potential little pump through, grab some stops, 540, 550, that type of level, and then send it back down. So just look out for those types of sneaky moves. But if you're looking for bullish pullback moves on 𝗏𝗏, what you need to do is just pull your fibs, lows to the highs, and you want to identify your hot zones. And my absolute banger for me, it's got to be this 382 level, 487. It's got to be that. Look at that. Inverse head and shoulders at play there. For me, 487, guys. That is the one that I'd be watching. So look out for that and just be patient. You know, it might pump first. It might pump for another day before there is some type of pullback. But that ideally for me is a super bullish setup on 𝗏𝗏. So 487, that's a hot zone there. And then lower down, look. Lower down the 618s. We know these 618s, they need to deliver this time. We don't want to go back to those lows. So 454, another hot zone. Remember, guys, these charts, they're all going into Sniper Club directly after the show. Ray's dropping all of these in there for you. So just make sure you guys are in there. And Tindo, the African DJ, says he loves the show. And the 618 tattoo, it's coming, guys. I don't have time. I just, at the moment, I just trade. And I stream for you guys. I don't have time to do anything else, but I'll get there. Maybe they can send a tattoo artist to my office. Then I can do that. Okay, let's see. What else? Brother says, Dylan should have more likes. Guys, if you like the content, hit the like. If you don't like it, well, obviously, don't hit the likes. But if you like it, like it. I mean, it's as simple as that. And you got Rainbow Ray. What is this thing behind you, bro? Beast mode. What is this? Ray's gone full beast mode. Okay, let's talk Ondo. That's another topical trade that we've had on the show for the last while, and exactly the same principle. Ondo pushing into a major resistance zone again. So there's arguments here for Ondo on the 4 hour. There's arguments that, yes, we've broken the trend. Okay, good start. Now we're looking for a bullish retest. Yes, I agree with that. But part of me feels that Ondo needs to really fake out here first and then start coming back. Okay, you can see why that is bothering me. That whole wick up here, that whole region there is a little bit of a bother for me now on Ondo that I'm looking at. So if we're playing Ondo at the moment, I would say if this thing starts pumping, look out for this fake out here. 7472. Okay, that's a concern for me. Then maybe we get that type of pullback on Ondo. So if it doesn't pump, what can you do? Well, if it starts falling over in the next 24 hours, you want to just get some bullish buys and you want to start accumulating a little bit of Ondies here. And what I would suggest, 6627, 6312. Those are your hot zones you want to watch. 6627, 6312. Now, you can see it's already tapped the 382. Look at that. big rejection. I mean, big reaction off that 382 already. So interesting. You know, if we come back down, you know, we're looking at something like that, I would suggest. Okay, so Ondo, upside, you know what to do on the upside. Look out for this fake out there. I'm concerned about that guy. And then to the downside, 6627 support. Next one, 6-3. Those are your hot zones. Those are your bull zones. Those are your typical areas there where you're looking for some action on those things. And also, if you're bullish on Ondo, accumulate there. Bullish on Ondo, accumulate there. That is where you can start building a little position. Remember, there's no rush now. Trump is the president. He's locked in for 4 years. Macro looks okay. You're like, you know what I mean? There's no rush. You don't need to force it. Just slowly start accumulating some positions here. I think long-term, we're all going to be okay. I think everything's going to be fine in the end. Okay, last one, guys. This is really, I'm eating into everybody's time here. Okay, GRT. Also, if we zoom out, GRT on the 12-hour, look what's going on here. Rising trend. Okay, what did we reject on? VWAP, horizontals, trend. Okay, typical place where they're going to put the brakes on. That again doesn't mean that sends it now to zero, but it tells us this is a reaction zone. This is where we need to be cautious, and this is the short zone I gave you guys yesterday. That's interesting to me, and this ties in as well with that Ondo chart. Imagine a little fake pump now, a fake out into 16. Then a little move lower down. Okay, so I just want to point that out to you guys. One more fake out in the market just to catch late longers. Little fake out, push up, reject, then we go down. So look out, GRT. So resistance band right where we are now, 1521. Next one for me is 16. Order blocks, 618. Anchored VWAP, 50-day MA, horizontals. That's a hot zone. Just be careful there. That's a danger zone. And remember the fun, when we blow these hot zones, then they come good support for us, and then we take longs later on. But remember, into the hot zones, careful. Playing breakouts, degen moves, just play safe. Careful with the leverage. And what's this? Geez, full stops in the charts. Keep calm, guys. What? I don't understand. What's going on here? What's going on here? Orlando says GRT to the moon. Spunano, guys, I owe you some mooding. I definitely owe you some mooding. Let's check my trades. Am I getting rinsed? Am I getting shatakied? No, not bad. Okay, so let's look at Bitcoin here. Actually, let's look at Bitties. Look at this. I nearly got though. Look how great. It was a little bit tight. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here goes Bitties. Okay, let's go. Okay, when we clear this high here, we're going to add. Okay, so when we start clearing that, I'm going to stick a little bit more in here. So let's put a stop here on Bitcoin. Okay, so anyone who's not sitting in a stop, just let's get a stop in. Ideally, you want to be a little bit under the wicks because they might come and stop hunt you. So option 1, 74.79. Option 2, 73.426. Those are your stop options, I would suggest. Yeah, 74, what did I say? 74.29, somewhere around there. Okay, so I'm going to bang in my stop there. If this candle gets a little bit more aggressive, we're going to add. And hopefully they don't come and rinse me now on Phantom. I got a little bit trigger finger there. What do we call it? Fat fingers. I think I went in a bit hard there, right? Let's see. Okay, so Phantom is close to a stop here at the moment. But your other stop option, Phantom traders, look at that. 6435. That is a nice area as well. So if they do send this one a little bit lower there, bang, you're looking for something like that. Alternatively, jumping out of the trade. Okay, guys, that was great. Strategy. Hopefully you've got the full understanding here as to what the game plan is. So little breakouts or sit back, wait. Let's get some bullish buys in. If your bias is long-term bullish, let's accumulate. If they're going to hold these lows, then why not? Let's buy these things on these areas and start growing some positions. And remember, the risk you're taking is that they send it back to the lows and lower. That's your risk. If you believe the lows are in on the altcoins, then we send it. Very simple. Okay, that was great, guys. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time. Catch you later. He's right. I'm going to get rinsed.
I longed the top and got wrecked.